Chapter 71. The alienated dog Shen Jie and Cheng Shengnan waited at Xiao He's house until almost 7 o'clock. After ordering takeout and eating, it was completely dark just after 8 o'clock. The community where Xiao He lives is an old community. The street lights in the community use energy-saving bulbs, making the whole community dark. There is a large shopping mall on the street outside the community. Outside is a large square with sufficient lights and a wide venue. The adults in the community also like to go there to dance and walk their children. This makes it rare to see anything in the community at night. To pedestrians, it looks eerie. Xiao He took Shen Jie downstairs to the courtyard. A dozen meters ahead was the garbage room. She told Shen Jie that she had seen the black dog next to the garbage room a few times before. The three of them waited from 8 o'clock to 8:30 but saw nothing. Shen Jie suggested, "How about you go back first and I'll wait here?" "It's okay, we are chatting everywhere anyway," Cheng Shengnan said. Xiao He was about to say something when suddenly his eyes widened and he pointed to the garbage room and screamed, come on, it's here, it's right next to the garbage bin." Shen Jie and Cheng Shengnan heard this and looked towards the garbage room. They both frowned because there was nothing next to the garbage room. Warn. The host broke into the area where the level 1 weirdness is located and has been targeted. The weirdness has the same rating as the host. As long as the host does not seek death, he should be able to fight. Come on. The system actually gives me fuel? Shen Jie was shocked. This was the first time since the system awakened that he was not asked to run away, but was asked to step forward to fight. It was like the sun was rising in the west. "You guys wait here, or go upstairs first. I'll go take a look." Shen Jie took out his sneaky gloves and put them on. He held a pistol, loaded it, and walked slowly towards the garbage room. Taking a few steps, Shen Jie turned on the silent mode first, but when he was only 3 meters away from the garbage room, he still didn't see anything. Looking carefully, I saw a faint black shadow in the dark garbage room. Is it an invisible monster like the Invisible? This idea was rejected by Shen Jie as soon as it came up, because according to his current experience and the Special Research Department's research data on Weird, the emergence of Weird's special ability means the creation of weird space, which will at least start at level 2. Probably level 1. Wait a minute, weird space? Shen Jie thought of a possibility. So he walked around to the back of the garbage room, avoided the sight of Cheng Shengnan and Xiao He, and directly turned on the silent plus invisible feature. Shen Jie can last for 133 seconds with dual characteristics. 2 minutes is enough for him to walk around the garbage room. As soon as he stepped in, he could clearly see the shadow of a dog condensed in black mist next to the green garbage bin. Sure enough, as Shen Jie expected, although the weird thing in front of him was only at the first level, it had abilities similar to the weird space, but its weird space was different from ordinary weird things. Generally, a level 2 weird space can pull other creatures into the space to kill and devour them, but this level 1 weird space seems to only affect itself. In other words, this is still weirdness that is just alienating. The black evil energy condensed into a large dog with red eyes that stood at least 2 meters upright, but it squatted on the ground and stared at Shen Jie motionlessly. "You can still see it when you are invisible." Shen Jie frowned, but thought that since the other party was a dog, his sense of smell should be very sensitive, and he should have smelled human scent. Shen Jie didn't think much. The moment he saw the black shadow clearly, he aimed at the black dog's head and shot. The silently silenced bullet flew out and strangely passed directly through the black dog's head, as if it was hit by smoke. The bullet went straight through the dog's head and into the wall. The black dog seemed to have determined Shen Jie's position. A beastly growl came out of its throat and suddenly rushed towards Shen Jie. Shen Jie reacted very quickly, dodged to the side, and fired several shots at the black dog, but the bullets all passed through the black dog's body. Smoke? Why does it feel like this dog's body is condensed with energy? Shen Jie suddenly put away his gun, stepped forward, and used the grappling technique to grab the black dog at the back of the neck. However, I got nothing. To be precise, the moment his hand grasped the black dog's neck, the black dog turned into smoke and disappeared from between his fingers. And Shen Jie wore the sneaky glove and didn't let go, which meant that it was not the real body of the sneaky dog. Where is the main body? Shen Jie looked around and saw nothing suspicious, but it was the black dog. The black mist on its lower body almost blended into the dark garbage room. Shen Jie took out the flashlight from his bag and turned it on, shining it at the black dog. Upon closer inspection, I found that the black smoke from the black dog spread all the way to the bottom of the trash can. Shen Jie kicked the trash can open. There was nothing underneath but a thick black mist. Woo! The dog roared again and rushed towards Shen Jie. Although he knew that it was just a fake body condensed with magic energy, Shen Jie still ducked to the side for safety reasons. Then, Shen Jie simply cancelled the invisibility plus silence to save some mental energy. However, the moment he cancelled the invisibility, the big dog with the black smoke disappeared from his eyes. Intangible and silent are both self-effect characteristics, that is, characteristics that have an effect on the user after using the ability. Being immobile is a characteristic that takes effect on him. After releasing the ability, the target will be fixed. Hence, when Shen Jie turns on the invisible and silent, it is equivalent to being in a state of releasing the strange space, so he reacts to this black dog who is in the same strange space, to himself. Once the status is released, Shen Jie will not be able to see the other party without the reaction of the strange space. At this time, he took the flashlight and shined it at the black mist under the trash can, and found a black puppy the size of 2 palms. It's just that this puppy has also undergone alienation, most of its body has rotted, and a strange black mist is floating around its body. Shen Jie approached carefully with a gun. He fiddled with his feet and found that the puppy seemed to be dead. He squatted down and took a closer look. The rotten flesh on its body was squirming and seemed to be slowly recovering. Shen Jie recalled the previous incident with the mysterious cat, and suddenly thought of a possibility. He found 2 sticks, picked up the puppy's body, and walked towards Xiaohe in the distance. "Xiaohe, come and take a look. Have you seen this puppy?" Shen Jie walked over and asked. Xiaohe hid behind Cheng Shengnan with some fear. He looked carefully at the body that Shen Jie had brought over. His eyes widened and he said in surprise, "Ah, it's Xiao Cole." "You know?" Xiaohe nodded. "Well, it should be a wild dog nearby. It was often bullied by the naughty children in the community. I helped it drive away the naughty children and fed it several times next to the garbage room. Some time ago it disappeared. I thought it was adopted, but I didn't expect." Sure enough, Shen Jie thought that Deng Yuqi and Li Shang had mentioned to him before that the strange energy could amplify various basic energies and negative emotions of the human body, and that the original strange cat also mutated after being tortured and killed by Xiao Wangmao. Then this little black dog should have been tortured and killed by those naughty children, which amplified the negative emotions and is now in a state of alienation. The reason why Xiaohe can see it is because he helped it before, so the relationship between the two is there some strange connection. Shen Jie was not sure whether this guess was correct, but he confirmed another thing, that is, the system did evolve after swallowing the invisible. At least before this, he couldn't see the weak strange energy that had just been alienated. Now the system not only gives an early warning, but Shen Jie can also catch the strange energy that has just begun to alienate with his naked eyes. As Li Shang said, Shen Jie can now see the weirdness that has not yet been alienated and the weirdness that is alienating. This will be a blockbuster that will cause drastic changes in a world plagued by weird disasters. Chapter 72. Could uncanny be the manifestation of fear? The main reason why weirdness can turn into disaster is its various weird and changeable abilities, as well as the characteristic of being difficult to kill. But Shen Jie can see the weirdness in the process of alienation, which means that the Special Policy Department can contain such weirdness in advance. Whether it is to prevent the alienation from causing disasters, or to keep it in captivity to wait for alienation, and then use it to make strange equipment to deal with other strange things, it is a great breakthrough in the evil action. Of course, his own strength may not be enough to face the alienation of the whole world, but by arming the Wrong City Special Policy Department in this way, the Great Celestial Empire's counterattack power can far exceed that of other countries. Whether to sell the level 1 weird corpse, price, 200 system points. 200 system points, 2 draws. Equivalent to approximately 2 boxes of instant noodles. The lottery issue can be put on hold for the time being. In contrast, Shen Jie wants to test whether Li Shang has the ability to develop new treacherous equipment. Also, in exchange for the right to use the 4th level strange, never forget, in the special strategy department. Shen Jie thought for a moment and did not choose to sell it. Instead, he took out a plastic bag from his shoulder bag, put the body of the mutated black dog in it, and said, "Have a good rest after you go back. If you keep this up, you won't need to put on makeup when you go out on Halloween." Brother Shen, was Xiao Haitan killed by those naughty children? Xiao he hesitated to speak. Shen Jie said, "It's very possible. According to a researcher from the Special Policy Department, weird energy can infinitely amplify negative emotions. Generally, weird people start to alienate before death. Although Xiao Haitan was brutally killed by a naughty child, it seems that he is still alive. Remember that you are kind to it, so the speed of alienation is not fast. At that time I was thinking that I would get off work very late every day and have no time to take care of it. If I took it back, maybe not." Xiao he bit his lip, tears already filling his eyes. Cheng Shengnan hugged Xiao he and whispered a few words of comfort. Shen Jie said, "Will you stay with her? I'll take this back to the ministry first. It's still alienating. If it's not dealt with, it will cause another strange incident." "Okay, let's get busy." Cheng Shengnan nodded. Shen Jie came out of the community and took a taxi back to the Special Policy Department. It was almost 10 o'clock, and the lights in the minister's office were still on. Shen Jie went directly to the minister's office and knocked on the door. "Take out. Enter." Deng Yuki looked up and saw Shen Jie pushing open the door and asked curiously, "Isn't it a day off today? You, a person who wants to have 7 days off a week, actually show up in the ministry?" "Oh, I am delivering food. Let's see what good things I brought." Shen Jie raised the plastic bag in his hand that had begun to emit black smoke. Deng Yuki's face turned dark when she saw this. It's fresh and still metamorphosing." Shen Jie approached Deng Yuki, opened the plastic bag, and showed the strange thing inside to Deng Yuki like a treasure. Now, immediately, send this thing to the technical department for containment." Deng Yuki was about to run away. "Who are these people? They just run around carrying weirdness carelessly, and they are not afraid of swallowing him up in one bite after the alienation is completed? Forget it, I'll go with you. Let's go." Deng Yuki dragged Shen Jie out and walked out. At the same time, he took out his mobile phone and called the people on duty in the technical department to prepare for the reception. Just like this, one phone call after another. People who were originally on vacation were called back one after another, and they began to deal with the strange things that Shen Jie brought back. Deng Yuki stood next to Shen Jie, raising his hand to rub his forehead. "So, you went to visit your old colleague, and you brought back a strange one by accident? She's the little girl who was trapped in a strange place with Mr. Cheng last time." Shen Jie briefly told Deng Yuki about Xiaohe's situation. Deng Yuki then remembered that in addition to Cheng Shengnan, there was another victim in the incident. However, there were no special circumstances after making the record, so she didn't remember it so clearly. Can she also see the weirdness of this alienated animal? Deng Yuki quickly caught the key point of Shen Jie's narration. Shen Jie nodded. So I suspect that the strange ability of alienation may be a manifestation of fear, but the puppy still thinks of Xiaohe's kindness to it, which delays the process of alienation to a certain extent. Deng Yuki was thinking about Shen Jie's words, and Li Shang said at the side. He is right, it is indeed possible. In recent years, I have summarized the research reports on weirdness by researchers from various branches, and found that fear is the key to inducing alienation in animals. There are about 103 reports stating that animals face death before alienation, and the fear hormones in their bodies increase sharply. The negative emotions of humans can be infinitely amplified by magic, and the top emotion is fear. Therefore, many people who have accepted magic the human subjects in the experiment ended up with violent contractions of the gallbladder and bile ducts due to fear, causing a large amount of bile to enter the digestive tract, and a large amount of dark bile like vomitus would be discharged. The cause of death is usually suffocation, sudden death, etc. But this is the most direct way of death, and it can also be said to be the most easy way of death. What is more serious is that the body develops lesions, strange devouring the body, etc. So those human bodies experiment. Deng Yuqi glanced at Shen Jie, who was listening to it with great interest, and quickly stopped Li Shang. Stop, 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 I've read those reports, you don't need to say them again. But I haven't seen it, Shen Jie said. Deng Yuqi ignored Shen Jie, looked at Li Shang and said, so you also think that strangeness is a manifestation of fear? So far. That's it. Li Shang nodded. But isn't the strange truth in the water tank on the rooftop of our company here? Shen Jie asked. Li Shang said. I have analyzed the strange scenes you dealt with. Don't forget that there are many rat corpses in the hair. I suspect that it is not the hair that has been transformed, but the rats. After all, there have been no strange incidents so far. Non-animal aliens. In fact, Shen Jie had already guessed the truth, but he only said this deliberately in order to get Li Shang to talk more about the experiment. Oh, what animals are there now? Shen Jie asked. Li Shang started to talk about the experimental reports to Shen Jie again. Deng Yuqi saw that Shen Jie was deliberately tempting Li Shang to talk about the experiment. But as long as the two of them didn't talk about human experiments, she didn't bother to stop them. Soon, the shelter plan for the little black dog came out. Since it was still in the alienation stage, it was imprisoned in an underground shelter for observation. As its trick energy has the ability to simulate, and the trick energy illusion also has a certain attack power, Li Shang collected several tubes of trick energy to study first. Shen Jie followed Li Shang into the laboratory where the canisters were stored. He picked up an A-type canister and played with it. When Li Shang saw this, he said, "Be careful not to drop it." He ignored Shen Jie and continued to store the canisters. At this time, Shen Jie directly picked up the canister and took a deep breath. Chapter 73. Yeah, RPG. Li Shang was concentrating on distributing the canisters and did not notice Shen Jie's small movements. However, Shen Jie's action of sucking the canister was captured by the surveillance camera. But he didn't care. After taking a sip, he looked disgusted. Lift the lid of the canister and return it to its original position. Then he wandered around the laboratory, touching here and there, looking curious about everything. From time to time, he picked up some experimental items and asked Li Shang. In fact, Shen Jie was not as calm as he appeared on the surface. He had used his special characteristics in the battle with the treacherous dog before, and his mental strength had not yet been fully restored. And when he just took a sip of the canister of deception, his deception power was reduced by 5%, and his mental power was successfully restored by 5%. As he had guessed before, mental power is uncanny energy. He releases his special abilities through treachery, but the Special Policy Department cannot detect the presence of treachery in his body. This obviously explains some problems. Soon, the person in charge of the monitoring room reported Shen Jie's strange behavior to Deng Yuqi, and then the dedicated minister came in to train people. Shen Jie, are you crazy? Can the human body touch something like magic? If you want to die, just say it and I will let you do it right away. Deng Yuqi was saying this, but Shen Jie interrupted him. Participate in human experiments? Shen Jie looked like, there is such a good thing, on his face, and Deng Yuqi was so angry that he didn't say the next half of the sentence. Li Shang looked at Shen Jie with a confused expression, and then at Deng Yuqi who looked angry, wondering what he had missed just now. What did he do? Li Shang asked curiously. Deng Yuqi said angrily, suck the magic pot. Hearing this, Li Shang said calmly, oh, that's okay. I've tried this before. As long as you don't smoke it for a long time, your body will not develop any disease. Deng Yuqi held it in for a long time, and finally said, you two will never get together in the future. Anyway, this was not the first time Deng Yuqi said this, and the two of them didn't care. Stayed in the Special Policy Department until almost 11 o'clock. After dealing with the stray dog incident, Shen Jie returned home, took a bath, and made a bag of instant noodles. Looking at the instant noodles piled up into a small mountain, Shen Jie wondered how long it would take to finish them. 431 system points. Let's draw a prize for fun. Shen Jie turned on the computer, searched for a card draw BGM, and finally chose, can it be done? Can you give me some money? Prizes are being drawn? Ding! The aperture speed that jumped repeatedly on the 5 options gradually slowed down, and finally stopped at weapons and equipment. It's really a miracle of a single draw. The first draw is weapons and equipment. It seems that you are lucky today. Congratulations to the host for drawing the weapon. PF 98,120mm anti-tank rocket launcher. X1 and rockets X3. Yeah, RPG. Although what I drew is a bit hard to describe, it is still a good start. I just don't know how to stuff this thing under the bed and enjoy the morning wake-up call service one day. Continue, hurry up and pursue the victory. You can still smoke 3 times, ding 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 ding. Congratulations to the host for drawing the weapon, HK 416, X1 and magazine X3. There's no room for the fortress under the bed. Shen Jie felt that if he continued like this, he could open a Los Santos weapons store. There are 2 more chances. Can I get a special weapon? Ding 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 ding. Congratulations to the host for drawing instant noodles X1 box. The last time, System Dad loves me again. Congratulations to the host for drawing explosive grenade X3. Damn, the system is really disrespectful. Shen Jie wanted to take the system out of his body and give it a beating, and asked if it was hiding its special weapons as a dowry. Well, what was I expecting? Shen Jie sighed and did some mental work in front of the mirror for 30 minutes, and his depression was gone. After all, this is just the routine operation of the system. Congratulations to the host for surviving another day in a world full of weirdness. The reward is 1% of freely distributed points and 10 system points. Including today's free points reward, Shen Jie had already saved 10% without distributing it, so he directly added it to his spiritual power. With 210% mental power, it was already close to the level 2 weird energy reserve. Shen Jie suddenly felt that it was not surprising that the rating task would be triggered at this time. On January 21, 2028, the Special Strategy Department began to investigate the details of the woman, and found out that the woman had bypassed the Sakura country and was a member of a mercenary organization called Bloom. Their target was the level 6 weirdness at the Quanlong mountain base, because not long ago, Sakura Country Flower purchased the newly developed weird energy equipment design from Melee Country at a high price. The Special Strategy Department wants this blueprint, but doesn't want to spend the money, so this arduous task of infiltrating and stealing falls on you. But the first thing to figure out is, why did this woman target you twice? What is there in you that is worth their prying eyes? Good guy, you want something but don't want to pay for it, so you let me sneak into the enemy organization to steal it? Is the Special Strategy Department so big? Shen Jie read today's diary and felt that reality is more magical than fiction, a feeling of. However, Shen Jie was very curious at this time. He had activated the system in advance. Logically speaking, it was a completely different direction from the future. Perhaps this future is not your own future, but the future of the activated system 4 years later in parallel time and space? Or is it that there is no parallel time and space? Because of the time difference, the system only displays the situation of activating the system 4 years later through the log. Shen Jie rubbed his forehead. Whenever it involves weirdness and systems, a lot of problems will be involved if you delve deeper into it, and it gives you a headache just thinking about it. Can't figure it out, so she just doesn't think about it. Shen Jie throws himself on the bed and falls asleep. The boat will naturally straighten up when it reaches the bridge. Let's talk about tomorrow's matters tomorrow. Shen Jie got up early the next day and went to the War Department. He found that the playground was rarely full of people early in the morning. Feng Chengshou led a large group of people around a middle-aged man in a wheelchair. Shen Jie stopped Wang Han, who was running in circles, and asked, "Old Wang, who is that? I haven't seen him before." Wang Han stopped moving and introduced to Shen Jie. "Oh, that's Section Chief Chen. He was training at the headquarters when you came. There are 4 elite agents in our department, and Section Chief Chen is the most powerful. That one. He was the one who solved the only level 4 weird incident in the country. Unfortunately, I injured my leg in that weird incident, so I had to switch to a civilian job. Oh, by the way, he asked about you just now, go say hello." "Okay." Shen Jie nodded. After hearing Wang Han's introduction, His first reaction was, "So this is the owner of Lao Tool." As soon as Shen Jie walked towards the playground, Section Chief Chen turned his back to him to talk to Feng Chengshou, but suddenly stopped, turned his wheelchair and looked at Shen Jie. "Good morning, everyone. Are you Section Chief Chen? I am Shen Jie, the newcomer. I've known you for a long time." "Hello." Shen Jie greeted Section Chief Chen politely. Chief Chen's eyes darkened, and with a flick of his hand, he stretched out a stick and swung it directly towards Shen Jie's neck. Chapter 74. Section Chief Chen, you're the only one eating in my car, right? Section Chief Chen snorted coldly. Although he was sitting in a wheelchair, his hands were incredibly fast. Seeing that the stick was about to hit Shen Jie's throat, he calmly took half a step back, tilted his head slightly, and opened a distance of 3 inches. It seems like a thrilling escape, but in fact, the time and distance are grasped very accurately. Section Chief Chen raised his eyebrows and laughed. "Ha ha ha. That's interesting. Calmness and composure are the necessary conditions for being an elite agent. You can judge the distance with one glance, and your eyes are very vicious. But you are right, the enemy is still very inexperienced. Boy, you must leave yourself more room at any time. 3 inches is not enough." As soon as he finished speaking, Section Chief Chen pressed the mechanism on the stick. With a pop sound, a 2-finger-long sharp knife popped out from the tip of the stick. By visual inspection, the sharp knife is 12 centimeters, which is 2 centimeters longer than the 3-inch distance Shen Jie opened. If Chief Chen attacks continuously, Shen Jie's throat will be broken. "Thank you, Section Chief Chen, for your advice," Shen Jie said in a very respectful manner. Section Chief Chen nodded. "Although it can be seen that Feng Zhao is training you very hard, you used to work in an office and lacked exercise, let alone fighting skills. What if you joined the army when you were young? Develop a good habit of exercise. I believe you will be stronger. Exercise is a matter of perseverance, don't slack off. However, the basic fighting of Feng Shou is okay, and the special fighting is hard to describe. In the past, I couldn't even pass 10 moves, but now I can barely pass dozens of moves. From now on, you don't need to train with the feudal sect, just follow me." Feng Chengshou was criticized for a few words. Not only was he not angry, but he scratched the back of his head like an idiot and smiled in embarrassment. The dignified first instructor of the operations department could not survive 10 moves in the hands of Section Chief Chen. Even though Section Chief Chen was now in a wheelchair, he could barely survive dozens of moves. Only those who are familiar with Feng Chengxia's strength know how powerful Section Chief Chen is. Based on this, Shen Jie couldn't help but sigh in his heart that Chief Chen was indeed the first and only man in the country to solve the strange incident at level 4. "What are you doing in a daze? Just go and do what you have to do. Shen Jie stays and the others go to train," Section Chief Chen yelled loudly. Yes. A group of people, under the command of Feng Chengshou, began today's training. "Come on, Xiao Shen, walk around with me twice and chat." Section Chief Chen pressed the switch of the electric wheelchair, turned around, and walked around the outer circle of the playground. "Okay." Shen Jie responded and followed. "Xiao Shen, I remember that during the war, my grandfather's generation built the Great Wall for us with their flesh and blood, and laid a stable life for us with their lives. I thought that life would always get better and better in the future, with the people living and working in peace and contentment, and the country prospering. Who knows, something weird will pop out of nowhere." Sigh. It's also our generation's inability to prevent the spread of weird events that makes your younger generation take the lead. Chief Chen sighed and gently held his hand. He slapped his knees, showing his melancholy. Shen Jie said, "Chief Chen, please don't say that. It is because of your generation's efforts that we can live a stable life. I heard the minister mention that the strangeness had appeared a few years ago. Without you, what we are now would be people have long been living under weird fears." Sigh. After working hard for several years, in the end I can't even figure out where the weirdness comes from. I don't know whether to say we are too lazy or too useless. Ha ha ha. Speaking of which, since the establishment of the Special Policy Department, I have been from the headquarters. In the 5 years since I arrived at the branch, I have only solved a total of 6 strange incidents. You kid. You have almost surpassed me in less than half a month since you came to the Special Policy Department. You are so scary as a junior, you are so scary, Section Chief Chen laughed. Shen Jie said. Hey, the ones I deal with are all cats and dogs, or weird ones that are still in the alienation stage. How can I compare with you, Chief Chen? Chief Chen looked at Shen Jie with a strange expression and raised his eyebrows. You kid, you're trying to kill me? If you really want to count it like that. The only weird things I can solve are some fish, shrimps, crabs, oh, and a tadpole. Okay, forget that weirdness is all about animal alienation. Shen Jie was a little embarrassed, but Section Chief Chen didn't care and laughed heartily. Haha. What can I say, a real man? How can I blame you? By the way, I have seen your identity information and also communicated with Xiaoqi. We have also talked about it. I am very curious about your physique. How can you encounter so many strange incidents in just 1 month? Xiaoqi, Deng Yuki? Shen Jie was a little surprised when he heard this. First, it could be seen from Section Chief Chen's words that Deng Yuki was not a minister in his eyes, but a junior. Second, if the two had such a relationship, Deng Yuki did not tell Section Chief Chen that she could see it. Regarding the weird thing, this is a disguised show of goodwill. Do you want me to say it? Chief Chen, the Xiaoqi you mentioned is the minister? Shen Jie asked. Section Chief Chen laughed and said, haha, yes, this girl is my apprentice, and she is also very capable. The speed of promotion is like a rocket, and she climbed over my head in a blink of an eye. She just thinks about me, an old man, and wants to take me to the branch even if I'm useless. Apprentice? Shen Jie has never seen Deng Yuki take action, and his only impression is Huo Yus talk about shared bicycle racing, but judging from this, his skills should be pretty good. Shen Jie said. The minister never mentioned to you that I can see weak treachery? Xiaoqi didn't say. Wait a minute. Can you see weak weird energy? Does it mean the weirdness in the unalienated state? Section Chief Chen was just following Shen Jie's words, but suddenly he was stunned. He exclaimed, almost making Shen Jie think he was about to jump out of the wheelchair. Shen Jie nodded. According to Li Zhang's statement, the detector tested out of ghost energy, and I can see it directly with my naked eyes. That's it, because I can see weak weird energy, I don't hesitate to take risks and intervene in weird events again and again, just to nip the weirdness in the cradle. Hey, I am lucky to have your eyes, and I am lucky to the world. Section Chief Chen grabbed Shen Jie's hand and said excitedly. Shen Jie. Not that that's not the case. It's not that exaggerated. I am just doing it for the reward. Okay. Before Shen Jie could figure out how to deal with the current embarrassing situation, Section Chief Chen said excitedly. I can't bury a good young talent like you. Don't worry, I will do my best to teach what I have learned throughout my life. With you, I will make you the #1 agent in my empire. Well, Section Chief Chen added, I saw your previous training plan, so starting from today, all training will be tripled, and I will personally guide you in combat skills training. Uncle, don't play like this, it will kill someone. Chapter 75. Whole training evening. Shen Jie was helped to the canteen by Wang Han and Ma Chao. He couldn't even hold the chopsticks steady. For the first time, he experienced the joy of eating the plate directly with his face. The level of tragedy was far greater than when he first joined the ministry. At that time, it was because I had not exercised for many years, and suddenly a high-intensity exercise caused my body to lose strength. But now I have been training continuously for half a month, and I can do worse than before, which shows that the training intensity is high. The point is that before leaving, Section Chief Chen still looked unfinished. He felt that Shen Jie should still have the strength to run 10 or 8 laps, regardless of the fact that he was already paralyzed on the ground. Wang Han was eating and looked at Shen Jie, who was washing the dishes with interest, and said with a smile, Old Shen, you are pretty good. They said that Section Chief Chen brought out Fengjiao back then. At that time, for dinner, I would just lie down on the bed and eat steamed buns. If I got a little annoyed, I would just put in an IV. Do you know how the title of the confessed devil muscular man came from? He was trained by Chief Chen. Ma Chao had not experienced the era of Chief Chen, but he had also heard the rumors from that year. Devil. Shen Gisheng said helplessly. I will definitely not be able to go back home today. After dinner, Wang Han and Ma Chao helped Shen Jie back to the dormitory. Thinking of days like this from now on, Shen Jie didn't even want to move a finger, so he just lay on the bed and fell asleep. Ding! Congratulations to the host for surviving another day in a world full of weirdness. The reward is 1% of freely distributed points and 10 system points. Unknowingly, it was past midnight. Hearing the system prompt in his mind, Shen Jie sat up and started catching up on the new day. On January 22, 2028, after the organization was absorbed by the Special Strategy Department, everything from daily routine to training needs to be changed in accordance with the regulations of the Special Strategy Department. Previous resource allocation, outing exploration, resource collection and other tasks have also been suspended pending the introduction of new regulations. However, when you are promoted to the action captain when organizing, you can form your own exploration team, and the leader will also report your information as the captain. After the organization was merged into the Special Policy Department, you became a captain. Team leader. What's the difference between the captains of the Special Strategy Department? Shen Jie thought that there were only 2 action teams in the Special Strategy Department now. One was Team 1 led by Feng Chengshou, and the other was Team 2 led by Yu Tieshang. Feng Chengshou and Yu Tieshang are both instructors and captains of the first and second teams respectively. Apart from having more work, there seems to be nothing special about them. Shen Jie was too tired to think about it, and fell into a deep sleep on the pillow, as if waking up early in the morning to catch up on the clock was just a bedtime habit. The next day, Section Chief Chen was waiting at the War Department early in the morning. As soon as Shen Jie left, he started special training in Hell, which made Wang Han, Ma Chao and others feel chills on their backs. They used to call Feng Chengshou a devilish muscle man behind his back, saying that his training tortured people to the point of death, but compared with Chief Chen, it was nothing. In this way, Shen Jie began to practice the military life of the Special Policy Department during the day and catch up on sleep at night. In just half a month, various attributes improved a lot. The only regret is that I couldn't find the level 3 weirdness in the first week. That was Shen Jie's first mission failure. There was no survival reward for a week, and the new weekly mission did not appear until a week later. Except for the 7% free points, which is a pity, the system points are nothing. Rating. Level 1 Basic Attributes. The basic value of a normal adult male is 100%. Power 127%. Agility 117%. Physique 121%. Spirit 220%. Characteristics. Do not move, intangible ability. Invisible realm, type 1, equipment. Pig killing knife, characteristic, not bad. Black gloves, characteristic. Hold on, item omitted. System points 751 free distribution of points. 6 Shen Jie in reality is suffering from hell training, and Shen Jie in the future will also have a hard time. After the organization was absorbed by the Special Strategy Department, it was converted into a regular army, and the standards in all aspects were also in accordance with the Special Strategy Department. Anyway, judging from the information fed back in the log, Shen Jie in the future is also training day and night under the guidance of the instructor. Because the future Special Policy Department found out about the organization behind the captured woman and was already working on rescuing her, and that time was the best opportunity for future Shen Jie to break into the enemy. In the future, Shen Jie, as the most critical link, is required to increase combat effectiveness in a short period of time, at least to the level of an elite agent. Well, it is like this now, and it will be like this in the future. Is this a Special Policy Department or a rectification department? On February 7th, there was a loud banging on the dormitory door early in the morning. Yesterday, it was a rare break for the department. Feng Chengshou took people from Team 1 to drink together. Even Section Chief Chen was taken to drink several large bowls. Shen Jie was still hungover. It seemed that not long after he fell asleep, he was woken up by a rapid knock on the door. He took out his cell phone from under the pillow and looked at it. 5:21. Who is it, so early? Shen Jie opened the door sleepily, only to see Wang Han and Ma Chao standing at the door, fully armed. Isn't it a day off today? Shen Jie suddenly had a headache. Wang Handao. Shen Jie, something happened in Yuzhou. The headquarters held an emergency meeting at 6 o'clock and required all elite agents to attend. The minister asked us to wake you up. Yu Zhou. What happened? Shen Jie asked. Wang Handao. I don't know the details. I heard that Yu Zhou concealed a strange incident. As a result, the matter became more and more troublesome. Now it has evolved into a level 4 strange incident. It can't be suppressed. Oh, I couldn't hold it any longer and asked the headquarters for help? Shen Jie asked. I guess you won't know the details until you attend the meeting, Wang Han said. Okay, wait for me. Shen Jie nodded, went back to the house, put on his training clothes, and followed Wang Han and Ma Chao to the combat department. In the war department, Feng Chengshou and others were all waiting in full gear. After Huo Yu and other cadres arrived one after another, Section Chief Chen asked Shen Jie and others to go to the video conference room with him. As soon as he arrived at the door, he saw Deng Yuki holding the phone and getting angry. They don't want it either. They don't want to be able to create such a big trap? What have you been doing? Now that you know you were afraid, please ask for support. Whoever wants to support can go. Don't ask me for help. If I don't have anyone, I want you to kill me. Take your life. This bunch of asterisk have lost their disgrace and have been sent abroad. Don't pressure me with the old guy. If I had listened to the old guy, I wouldn't have come to wrong city. Not to mention a family. Why didn't you think about the family when you were able to equip the equipment? Now that something happened, you know the family? Deng Yuki was typing on the phone in the office. Section Chief Chen and others outside looked embarrassed. It didn't matter whether they were entering or not. Boom! Deng Yuki smashed the phone, looked at the door and shouted, "Everyone, come in." Cough. Section Chief Chen coughed awkwardly, opened the door and entered the office first, and the others quickly followed behind. This was the first time that Shen Jie saw all the officials from the Wrong City branch gathered together, except for Section Chief Chen, Feng Chengshou, Xiao Zhang and others who they often met. Almost half of them could not be named. You must have heard before coming here that a level 4 strange incident occurred in Yuzhou. This is an image sent from the headquarters. I will tell you the specific situation after seeing it. Chapter 76. Level 4 Strange Events in the picture. Yuzhou is in the suburbs far away from the city. A 33-story building with Yuzhou architectural characteristics. Half of the wall is integrated with the mountain. It feels like half of the mountain was hollowed out and a tall building was built directly inside. At this time, the building was in a very strange state, as if the entire building was on fire, with thick black smoke rising into the sky. But if you look closely, you can see that it is not a fire at all, but a thick black mist that can wrap up the entire building, making it look like a fire. From the picture, it can be seen that the buildings and streets around the building were cordoned off and deserted, and all surrounding residents were evacuated. Deng Yuki sat in the front seat, leaning against the screen, staring at the laptop in front of him, with a gloomy expression. Assistant Xiao Zhang stood next to the screen, holding the file from the headquarters and said to everyone, "The building wrapped in the black mist is a comprehensive building. The first floor faces Dongyu Street. It is the largest pet market in the entire Chongqing province. The second and third floors are home-based shops, with a wide range of business ranging from snacks to gold and silver jewelry shops. The 4th to 16th floors are for both commercial and residential use. There are ordinary residents, as well as shops such as nail salons and beauty salons, as well as some color industries." On December 23, 2023, a strange incident occurred in the pet market in this building. The Yuzhou branch sent an elite agent and 2 combat teams to deal with it. During the process, the strange incident devoured a large number of animals in the pet market, completing evolved and became level 2 weird. This is a strange scene that was handled at that time. These little chic things are starting to look less and less like a thing. Especially these little red legs. Shen Jie stared at the screen and couldn't help but let out a sigh. Weird, it's called weird because the direction of alienation is uncertain. The first weird incident I experienced, the thing turned into a puddle of flesh, and I couldn't even tell the original shape, Huo Yu said. Shen Jie said, "So what is the original shape of this thing?" Xiao Zhang replied, "Judging from the initial feedback, the original shape given by the Yuzhou Special Policy Department is Teddy, which is a poodle native to the Romantic Kingdom and Central Europe." Shen Jie nodded and agreed. From the picture, it looks like Teddy. Sorry, I can't tell. Deng Yuki knocked on the table lightly, looked back at Xiao Zhang and said, "Continue talking about the report sent by the headquarters. Don't let him lead you astray." "Yes." Xiao Zhang quickly brought the topic back. After the weird completed the second level of alienation, the containment failed. The agents of the Yuzhou branch and the team members forced it into the underground parking lot and used weird equipment to seal it. But just when the agents and others evacuated, the entire building was wrapped in black mist and was cut off from the outside world. "Is it the weird space that appears after Weird completes the second level of alienation?" an official from the Special Strategy Department asked. Xiao Zhang replied, "No, according to the Yuzhou branch's report and on-site images, the area where the black fog energy first appeared was on the 18th floor of the building, and then spread in both directions. In just 17 seconds, the black fog, the treacherous energy, swallowed up this 33-story building." The Yuzhou branch suspected that before this strange incident occurred, there was already a high-level strangeness in this building, but for some unknown reason no strange incident occurred. And because of the battle between the agents, the combat team and the strange dogs, they accidentally woke up. The high-level strangeness upstairs caused the entire building to be engulfed by the black mist strange energy. According to the report of the calculation of the concentration of strange energy, the strangeness is at least level 4, in other words, there are at least 2 strangenesses in the strange space this time. Boom! Section Chief Chen slapped his hand on the table and cursed angrily. "A bunch of freeloaders, what TNND bastards. They actually want to suppress a level 4 weird event that can turn a city into hell. What if it weren't for this? If it is exposed, should you wait until the whole city is gone before notifying us?" Xiao Zhang shrank his neck, obviously startled by Section Chief Chen's anger, swallowed and continued. On December 24, 2023, the branch began to target residents within a 10-mile radius on the grounds that the gas pipeline was damaged. During the evacuation, many households near Junang building have gone missing. On December 27, the branch appropriated a resettlement housing complex to house the evacuated residents, temporarily suppressing the matter. However, during New Year's Day, some citizens tried to return to Dongyu Street. Although they were eventually stopped by soldiers stationed outside. They were stopped, but 7 people still entered the block and are currently missing. On January 4, the branch dispatched a combat team into Dongyu Street to search for missing citizens, but soon after entering the block, the team also lost contact. On January 7, the second elite agent of the branch returned and went to Dongyu Street with all the deception equipment and combat personnel in the department. 2 hours later, a total of 57 people lost contact. When Section Chief Chen heard this, he was so angry that he slapped the table. 60 or 70 lives. That's it, they still suppress. I wish I could beat those asterisk in the branch to death. Xiao Zhang gritted his teeth and continued. Since the branch has paid sufficient resettlement fees and purchased residences, the few doubts from the residents of the original Dongyu Street were quickly suppressed. The branch director still did not. Instead of reporting this matter, we hired mercenaries from abroad at a high price. On February 1, 13 anti-Gui mercenaries entered Dongyu Street and approached the Junang building a few hours later. A few minutes later, the team also lost contact. According to the branch, this anti-trick mercenary team uses a trick energy communicator. Even in a trick space with a large influence of trick energy, it can communicate normally. However, in just a few minutes, the signal goes from there to nothing. There was no sign of weakening in the middle, and it was obviously cut off suddenly. Due to the situation of the mercenaries, the beautiful country quickly learned of this strange incident and raised it in the recent meeting. Only then did the headquarters know that such a big thing happened in Yuzhou. The branch, the ministers and senior officials have been brought under control and now directly taken over by the headquarters. Deng Yuki took over the topic and said, "What the headquarters now means is that for the problems that have arisen in Yuzhou, let our Southwest 4th Department come up with a reasonable solution to prevent the incident from spreading." And the American side said that if we can't do it in a short time to deal with this level 4 weird incident, in accordance with international conventions, when a major disaster occurs, they have the right to organize a rescue team to enter our country for processing. Since the emergence of the strange, the International Anti-Terrorist Organization has rated level 4 strange disasters even higher than an 8-magnitude earthquake. From this point of view, If this strange incident cannot be dealt with in the short term, it may indeed evolve into an international incident, resulting in rescue organizations from other countries entering the process. Fart. How can those have such good intentions? They just want to do whatever they want because of the strange events in other countries. They may use nuclear weapons, biological and chemical weapons. As long as they can suppress the spread of strange events, they won't care. The fate of our people. If you want to come in, there is no way, Section Chief Chen said angrily. Deng Yuki continued. Now the headquarters has sent people to take over the blockade area and is conducting internal inspections. Soon we will receive the latest live footage. This is the situation. Everyone, among the 4 departments, we are closest to Yuzhou. If the incident spreads, we will be the first city to be affected. What do you think? As soon as Deng Yuki's question came up, officials in the Special Policy Department immediately expressed their opinions on the strange incident, and they were quickly divided into 2 camps. Some people believe that as the second level 4 strange incident in China, it is extremely difficult. People like Section Chief Chen who have experienced the first level 4 incident know very well. Although the Wrong City branch has been established for several years, it is still in the development stage. It only has 2 pieces of special equipment in total, ranking last in the country in terms of agent strength. Such dangerous matters should obviously be handled by the headquarters, but their lack of supervision actually allowed a level 4 strange incident to be hidden below. The headquarters has a big business, a lot of agents, and a lot of equipment. As the saying goes, with great power comes great responsibility. This matter should be handled by the headquarters. Other people believe that the Wrong City branch should also send people there. Whether they can enter Dongyu Street or not is one thing. They should at least check the situation in the surrounding area to confirm the speed of spread. After all, if this situation continues to worsen, Wrong City will definitely suffer. Some preparations must be made in advance to prevent the situation from being completely out of control and running into chaos. In other words, no matter which side heard about the level 4 strange incident, they all retreated. The strange incident that year left a deep shadow on them. At that time, when there was a level 4 weird incident caused by human experimentation, 3 of the top 5 agents of the Special Strategy Department went to gather all the weird equipment in the department. More than a dozen pieces of weird equipment could be said to be armed to the teeth. As a result, 2 people died and 1 was disabled. It is not an exaggeration to say that he died together with the weirdness. After that time, the Great Celestial Empire's ability to deal with spooks plummeted, and even the headquarters couldn't handle things. Their small Wrong City branch might not be able to handle level 4 spooks. Deng Yuki wanted to hear Shen Ji's opinion. After all, as a newly joined agent, he had added several performances to the Wrong City branch in just 1 month, and his strength had always been highly recognized by her. However, when she set her sights on Shen Ji, she was completely stunned. Shen Ji sat in front of the conference table, leaning forward, putting his hands under the table as if he was tinkering with something. After a few seconds, he lowered his head, raised his hands, and stuffed a braised egg into his mouth. His movements were silky and smooth. "I just do this kind of thing all the time." And he chewed with his cheeks puffed out, for fear that the people next to him wouldn't see that he was eating something secretly. Everyone saw their boss staring at Shen Ji, and they immediately looked over. Shen Ji didn't expect that the noisy conference room suddenly became quiet. When he raised his head, he almost choked to death. Shen Ji quickly swallowed the braised eggs, picked up the tea on the table and took a few sips. He laughed and said, "You were right. That's how it should be." "Brother, did you not hear a word you said?" Deng Yuki said. "There are still 2 hours until the headquarters holds a national video conference. What do you think of this strange incident?" Shen Ji said. "Our Wrong City is right next to Yuzhou. What do you think? This matter will most likely fall on us. I think, Minister, you should make plans as soon as possible. You have to go there if you look horizontally or vertically. In the end, let's first think about how to maximize our profits and give his headquarters a good deal." "Brother, although what you say makes sense, is it too straightforward to be so?" Deng Yuki snorted coldly. When the headquarters established the Rongyu branch, the branch there had 1 more elite agent than us and wanted to take away 3 pieces of special equipment. Now that something has happened, we want us to take action. That's pretty good. If I don't strip him, I'll get all the people to build a base outside Donyu Street tomorrow and guard this strange incident for them at close range. Sister, you are the head of the department, don't let that boy lead you astray. The meaning of Deng Yuki's words could not be more obvious. As far as the 4 Southwest divisions are concerned, their Wrong City branch should indeed contribute, but when it was founded, it did not want to support a wave of support. Now, if something goes wrong, it will immediately take the lead. How can there be such a thing in this world? Such a good thing. Although strange events spread, Wrong City will definitely be affected first, but it will definitely be ranked second after Yuzhou. Don't think about the people of Yuzhou at this time, because judging from the previous Yuzhou branch agents and the later mercenaries, no matter how many people go there, they will die. The people in Yuzhou are human beings, but the people in Wrong City are not human beings? What Deng Yuki means is that if the headquarters does not want to come up with countermeasures and only wants to let the Wrong City branch wipe its ass, then she will lead people to watch it. If the mysterious space spreads an inch, she will ask the troops to step back an inch. Big deal, let Rongshi move back an inch. Whoever wants to die will die, but the people from her Wrong City branch cannot be allowed to die. Shen Jie did not expect that Deng Yuki's views were the same as his own, and he could also see that she really cared about the people in the Wrong City branch, and was not a mindless, righteousness comes first, no matter life or death. Section Chief Chen wanted to say something, but he looked at Deng Yuki, then at Shen Jie, who was peeling braised eggs and eating secretly, and swallowed his words. At 8 o'clock, the national video conference began. As everyone expected, after the headquarters summarized and explained the information about this strange incident, they turned the topic to the Southwest 4th Department and asked the 4th Department to organize a joint team to go to Yuzhou to deal with this strange incident. Headquarters Chief, if you are too old to do what you want, you should step down as soon as possible. Don't take things for granted all day long. Even if something happens to the Yuzhou branch, our 3 Southwest departments are closest to each other. But this is none of our business. Isn't this your supervision? Are you not doing your best and letting the corruption of the people below cause things to happen? Don't you have a good idea of the level of counterterrorism in our 3 Southwest divisions? Shall we organize a joint team to deal with it? Are all the people in your headquarters just doing it? If you can do it, retire as soon as you can. You're already 60, so tell me, do you have any brains for such irresponsible words? Deng Yuki stood in front of the camera, pointed at the camera and cursed. This scene was broadcast live across the country and shocked countless people. Even Shen Jie gave a dumbfounded thumbs up. Sister, you are so fierce. You are the boss of the Special Policy Department after all. If you are so disrespectful, are you planning to pack up and leave tomorrow? However, more newcomers like Shen Jie were shocked. Old people in the Special Policy Department like Section Chief Chen had strange expressions at this time. But they were expressions that people who had been there were used to. The reason is simple. Deng Yuki's surname is Deng, and the old minister's surname is also Deng. Chapter 77. Future characteristic. Immobile. The old minister's face turned dark. He slammed the table angrily and shouted coldly, "Shut up." Deng Yuki didn't buy it at all, and directly pushed back. What are you talking about? Am I wrong? Are you really blind, or are you pretending to be blind? There are more than 60 people in the Yuzhou branch, plus 13 foreign mercenaries with advanced equipment. A total of 80 people lost contact after entering the strange space, and you still asked our Southwest Division 3 to organize a team to go there? If you want us to die, just drag us and shoot them. Why do you need to do so many things? In addition, the ministers of the 2nd Southwest Department saw that Deng Yuki was so tough and wanted to say something in agreement, but obviously they did not have the confidence. What's more, apart from Deng Yuki, no one in the entire Special Policy Department dared to speak to the old minister in this tone. The old minister had a dark face, held it in for a long time, and then said, "When did I say that you will be solely responsible for this matter? Didn't I say that the headquarters will send elite agents to assist you and cooperate with you to solve this 4th-level strange incident? If you have any requirements, you can mention them, and the headquarters will definitely provide support if they can meet them. Oh, let's get 10 or 8 pieces of treacherous equipment first to support us." Deng Yuki opened his mouth with an expressionless expression and directly shouted out the price of 10 pieces of treacherous equipment. You. The old minister slammed the table, and this time he was really angry. How many pieces of treacherous equipment in the country are there in total? Is it enough for you? Oh, that's enough. When will you pick up the goods? If you really give me 10 pieces of magic equipment, I will personally go to Dongyu Street to solve the problem for you. Deng Yuki replied domineeringly. You. The old minister was so angry that he could not speak. At this time, people from other branches began to criticize Deng Yuki, saying that even if she was arrogant and had no concept of superiors and subordinates, she should still have the traditional virtues of respecting elders in our country. Deng Yuki snorted coldly and said sarcastically, "When I asked who would be willing to take the lead in handling this matter, all of them acted like mutes. I didn't expect that they would be able to speak now. If you want to talk to me about traditional virtues, besides respecting the elderly, should you also show your love for children? Our Wrong City branch has just been established a few years ago, and it is ranked last among the departments in terms of strength. At this time, should you seniors take the lead?" As soon as Deng Yuki said these words, the old seniors, who had just scolded her, all shut up immediately. No one wanted to talk and be dragged to deal with the strange incident at level 4. A bunch of trash. Deng Yuki snorted coldly and sat down. The headquarters wanted to hand over the level 4 strange incident to the Southwest Division 3 to handle it, but the Division 3 refused to accept the call. The other branches were worried that if they went to support, they would not be able to deal with the strange incident that happened in their own territory. This meeting is destined to be inconclusive. Finally, the old minister slapped the table and said that he would let the elite agents from the headquarters go to Yuzhou to handle the matter with the special equipment. The video conference ended, and the conference room was completely silent. Everyone could feel that Deng Yuki's anger had not yet finished, and no one wanted to get burned. After a few minutes of silence, Deng Yuki said, "From the operations department, draw up an investigation plan for me. The team will be closed down. Yuan Huo Yu will lead the team to conduct investigation near Dongyu Street. Investigation can only be done outside the warning area. I want to investigate clearly the spread speed, scope, direction, etc. of the mysterious space as quickly as possible." "Yes." Feng Chengshou immediately stood up and responded. Deng Yuki said again, "Xiao Zhang, contact Lin Yin. If there is no progress in the mission over there, interrupt the mission and return to the ministry to stand by." "Yes." "Wait, forget it. We won't recall Lin Yin for the time being." Deng Yuki thought for a while, and finally stopped Xiao Zhang, then looked at everyone and said, "The ministry is on a first-level combat alert, and the rest of the team will be closed to lead the team to Chongqing. After the state, you and Section Chief Chen stay at the headquarters and pay attention to the strange events in Wrong City." Section Chief Chen frowned when he heard this. "You want to go to Yuzhou in person? Lin Yin's mission cannot be compromised. Letting her come back means that the deployment of the past 2 years has been in vain. Although I am a minister, I am also an elite agent and have the authority to deal with strange incidents," Deng Yuki replied. "You are the branch director of Wrong City. If you do something like this, you still think that there is no one in our Wrong City branch?" "No, absolutely not," Section Chief Chen said, looking at Shen Jie aside, and this guy. He leaned his head on the conference table with one hand, and put the eggshell he had just peeled off with the other hand into a smiling face. Perhaps feeling everyone's gaze, Shen Jie raised his head and said calmly, "Well, it all depends on what I do. I am just a newcomer. Such a big event that can easily wipe out a city will never be the turn of a newcomer like me. Come on. Okay. According to me, Minister, don't give yourself a chicken blood injection. Unless you are prepared to take on this matter bravely, otherwise you will be sending agents from the headquarters to serve as subordinates. As far as I know, it has been 5 years since the last level 4 weird incident, right? At that time, the Wrong City branch had not been established, and the number of weird incidents in various places was not as high as it is now. But it turns out that the high frequency of weird incidents did not make these people attach great importance to weird events, but they get carried away by the victories of low-level weird things again and again, and they actually think that with the people and equipment of the Southwest Division 3, they can casually handle a 4th-level weird event. Oh, it's really not worth the 80 or so lives that we lost contact with." Shen Jie smiled sarcastically and added, If they really take this incident seriously and directly decide to integrate the elite agents and weird equipment from all branches across the country, and take it as seriously as they did the first weird incident, they won't save a few more lives. In the end, this matter will still fall on the heads of our Southwest Division 3. But let me put it here first. If you want us to take action, you can. The list of treacherous equipment listed above supports at least 3 pieces of treacherous equipment, and the right to dispose of the strange corpse afterwards. Section Chief Chen said in a deep voice. Xiao Shen, you can't say that. After all, this is a strange incident that happened in China. The branch chief over there is not a human being and ignores the safety of the people, but we can't. Since we have become an elite agent, you have to have the consciousness of an elite agent. At times like this, you can only rely on us. No problem, I didn't say not to go, but you have to give me support, right? The Yuzhou branch was established together with our branch. They have more treacherous equipment than us. What now? 2 elite agents are alive and dead. Uncertain. I want people to take responsibility, but I don't want to use anything to support it. How can there be such a good thing in this world? Shen Jie said. This. Section Chief Chen also wanted to try to persuade Shen Jie, but was stopped by Deng Yuqi. Shen Jie was recruited into the ministry by Deng Yuqi. She was very clear about Shen Jie's character. It would be too early to say that he was unprofitable, but if you want him to do something, you must first reach an agreement with his ideas. This incident is obviously because the old guys at the headquarters made a wrong judgment. They wanted to perfectly solve this strange incident, but also wanted to retain their strength to deal with the intervention of the beautiful country. However, unfortunately, there is no such thing as perfection when it comes to weird things. Deng Yuqi is also very dissatisfied with the decision-making above, but when it comes to ZZ, her branch director in a remote area, does not have decision-making power. Anyway, as Shen Jie said, the higher-ups actively responded to this matter, and the wrong city branch fully cooperated with it. If the higher-ups wanted to leave this matter to the wrong city branch while leaving some room for action, no wonder they treated it passively. This meeting can be said to have ended on bad terms. Shen Jie didn't have any special feelings. He had enough to eat and drink, unlike others who came to the meeting hungry. Wang Han and Ma Chao caught up with Shen Jie, who left and went to the War Department with him. I thought you would take the initiative to take this job, and then take the opportunity to knock over some strange equipment from the headquarters. Then show off your skills and become famous in one fell swoop, Wang Han said to Shen Jie. Shen Jie glanced at him sideways and said, "You are so smooth talking, do you want to take the postgraduate entrance examination?" Ma Chaoze on the side said, "Ha, that means you don't understand Lao Shen. Although we have only known each other for less than a month, I can see that Lao Shen has a sense of justice, but not much. I think he didn't do what he did last time. Speaking of the good, he is going to save some people who should not be saved, so why not save your life and save more people who should be saved? When people are in danger, they should rush to the front and never give up any life," Wang Han said righteously. "I didn't think there was any difference before, but after experiencing the last incident, I think there is still some difference," Ma Chao said. "If Section Chief Chen hears what you said, be careful of being punished." "TCH, what are you afraid of? I am not under Section Chief Chen's control. Wang Hanma was talking to you and me, and they were arguing about this strange incident." Shen Jie didn't say anything and watched the 2 people arguing silently. After returning to the operations department, Feng Chengshou led a team of people and a sniper team to prepare for Yuzhou. Together with the technology department and the logistics department, most of the people were reduced, and the special strategy department instantly became deserted. Shen Jie originally thought that Section Chief Chen would put pressure on him and ask him to go to Yuzhou with Deng Yuqi to deal with this strange incident. Unexpectedly, Deng Yuqi just asked him to train well in the ministry, and then took the ministry's special plane to Yuzhou for on-site survey. I don't know what Deng Yuqi and Section Chief Chen talked about. Section Chief Chen only guided Shen Jie in special training all day long and didn't mention a word about this strange incident. After completing a day of training, Shen Jie returned home, eating instant noodles and browsing the web to see if there was any news from Yuzhou. However, there is no incident related to the Level 4 strange incident on the internet, and there is even very little news near Dongyu Street. The only news is that the gas pipeline in the old Donyu Street is being renovated, and surrounding routes need to be rerouted. Sure enough, in this world you only know the things you are told to know, and you cannot find even a single clue about the things you are not told to know. Ding! Congratulations to the host for surviving another day in a world full of weirdness. The reward is 1% of freely distributed points and 10 system points. In a blink of an eye, it was early morning again, and Shen Jie found that since the system updated the log in the early morning every day, the habit of sleeping until early in the morning could not be changed. Shen Jie is used to focusing on mental strength after reaching 10 free points, but he has accumulated 761 system points. He originally planned to accumulate enough for 10 draws in a row. But now that there is a level 4 strange event in Yuzhou, there is a high probability that he will go to the battlefield. No one knows what will happen after being trapped in Donyu Street. It is also unknown whether the ability of the invisible realm can be used to cause a collapse. Save some system points in your hand. If you are trapped in a strange space, you can system the lottery probability and you will not run out of water or food. In fact, due to the 4-year time difference between the system and the system, the rewards drawn by the system now seem to be garbage, but whether it is water, food or equipment, it is not garbage in the end of the world when resources are scarce. The most scarce thing in the last days is food and resources, which is equivalent to carrying a resource bank on your back, not to mention being able to extract special equipment and devour weirdness, and use weird specialties and abilities that humans cannot integrate for your own use. Of course, having said that, the system thief should still be scolded. After all, if he continues like this, Shen Jie will be able to open an instant noodle factory. In the middle of the night on February 8, 2028, the enemy organization sent people to launch a rescue operation for the woman. During the process, they tried to contact many high-level and captain-level soldiers of the Special Strategy Department, including you. According to the plan formulated by the Special Strategy Department, you reached an agreement with the hostile organization on the condition of a piece of special equipment. Members of this organization have agreed with you that tomorrow night, you will be rewarded with a pair of sneaky shoes that do not move, allowing you to work together to rescue the woman. As long as you put on these sneakers and step on the target's shadow, the target will be temporarily immobile. You agreed. Huh? Fudo is actually in the hands of Sakura country? Shen Jie was a little surprised when he saw this. He originally thought that even if his future self failed to activate the system in this timeline and could not detect Fudo's existence, in the end it would be Wrong City's people who the Special Strategy Department can't take it down, but they don't want to. Was this acquired by the Sakura country organization that had infiltrated long ago, or did it fall into their hands later? It's a pity that this is just a log, and there is no way to communicate. Otherwise, if we have a time travel contact and contact with our future self, wouldn't we be able to trace the mystery in another life? Let me ask again how the strange incident in Yuzhou will be handled in the future, or will it be the failure to handle it in the end, which will lead to the fall of Yuzhou and the end of the Great Dynasty step by step? Hey, can you open a membership on demand account and read tomorrow's diary in advance? Shen Jie complained, turned off the computer and went to sleep. At noon the next day, Shen Jie, who was undergoing special training in Hell, was called to the information department by Section Chief Chen. Deng Yuki, who was traveling to Yuzhou, sent back the news. The impact of the Donyu Street treacherous energy incident is much more serious than imagined. It is equivalent to the entire south of Yuzhou being blocked by the treacherous space, and the 2 lines leading to Sichuan and Shu are deeply affected. Secondly, the mysterious space is still spreading, and the speed is not slow. In the few hours since Deng Yuki went there, the area has spread by nearly 10 meters. And the signal blocking capability of this treacherous space is extremely strong. No matter how high-end the technology is, or even the use of satellites, the connection will be lost as long as it enters the treacherous space. Since the outbreak of this strange incident, no matter whether it is a living body or a drone, nothing can enter or exit, without any exception. Except for Deng Yuki, the 3 Southwest ministries sent agents and soldiers there, and no one wanted to get involved in the matter at the meeting. However, after all, this happened next door, and everyone understood the meaning of death. Scussing and scolding, it still needs to be dealt with. Deng Yuki asked about the situation in Wrong City and then cut off contact. Section Chief Chen stopped Shen Jie and opened his mouth. In the end, without saying a word, he waved his hand and asked him to leave. Shen Jie didn't care either, because the problem this time was far from as simple as it seemed. Thanks to Returning to the Dust Immortal, Poet Lele, Yebantansai, Yushu Measuring the Sky, Book Friends 2022*1887, Strange Bylon, Yukuya, Retired, Magic Apprentice, Reward. Chapter 78. The Future. Level 6 obtained by the former minister of Wrong City with his life. On February 9, 2028, you arrived at the agreed-upon location as promised, and the connector entered the Special Strategy Department under your cover with the pair of treacherous energy equipment. After you entered, the people lurking outside took the opportunity to cause a commotion. The base was in chaos. You guys worked together to rescue the woman. The woman's name is Natsumi. She was a little surprised to see you appear. After all, you had rejected her temptation twice and refused to cooperate. When she learned that you had chosen to cooperate with them because of a pair of shoes, Natsumi's mood obviously changed, and she looked at you with a bit more unwillingness. After successfully rescuing Natsumi, you returned to Wrong City. Through the conversation with the contact, you learned that this organization named Sakura's target is the strange 6th-level corpse stored in the Quanlong Mountain base. You know very little information about this strange 6th-level corpse, but you don't expect Natsumi to have collected a lot of information over the years. Judging from the information collected by Natsumi, the ability of the 6th-level weird contained in Quanlong Mountain base is suspected to be a weird space that blocks all signals. Its characteristic is named No Exit, which means only entering but not exiting. It is Wrong City, the former head of the Special Policy Department, and many agents exchanged their lives for the strange corpse. Seeing this, Shen Jie, who was lying on the bed checking his diary, suddenly sat up. Block all signals? Only in but not out? It can't be such a coincidence, right? The level 8 treacherous zone in Takuguchi city of Sakura country is still spreading. If it is allowed to continue to develop, I'm afraid Sakura sinking will be staged. After inquiring from various parties, Sakura Kingdom learned that Wrong City houses the weird that can block everything, so they thought of using its blocking ability to create some kind of weird equipment that can isolate Tuku City and prevent the 8th level weird realm from continuing to attack. Spread to other cities. Natsume wants to use your identity as a soldier of the Special Strategy Department to help them find this strange corpse. After this is accomplished, he will give out another strange piece of equipment as a thank you. You said that it is difficult to steal the 6th level strange corpse, not to mention that as a member of the Great Celestial Empire, helping them means betraying the pot. Got more money? As expected of my future self, my skin is still the same as before. But, Shen Jie came up with another question from these two logs, that is the level 6 weirdness not coming out mentioned in the diary the weirdness that broke out in Yuzhou at this time? Although only level 4 weird events are breaking out in Yuzhou now, weird is not that easy to kill. According to Li Zhang's research report on weird cats and weird mice, weird's death is actually in a state of suspended death. Because of this, only then will they be admitted. Once an opportunity is triggered, it is not a problem for them to come back to life. For example, the weird brain, you forget, currently being contained by the Special Policy Department of Wrong City was only a level 1 weird thing before the containment, but the system also reported a reminder that it would grow into a level 4 weird thing 4 years later. In other words, No Out is currently only level 4 in Yuzhou. Deng Yuki and a group of agents may have paid the price with their lives to contain it in the Wrong City Special Policy Department. 4 years later, it became a level 6 weird for some reason. It is also possible that Deng Yuki and others were alienated from level 4 to level 6 during the containment process. After all, the incident happened in a pet market. No one knows what is going on in the strange space at this time. Maybe the 6th level of alienation has been completed long ago. But no matter what the situation of not coming out is, judging from the diary, there is only one ending for Deng Yuki. Die. Shen Jie raised his hand and rubbed his forehead and couldn't help thinking that if he had not activated the system in advance, then according to the timeline, immobile would not have been handled by him in the end. Then, would Cheng Shengnan survive? Or is it that because of his intervention, The current timeline also changed the outcome of Cheng Shengden's death in the unmoved incident? I have a headache. Shen Jie fell on the bed, threw the grenade, and looked through all the logs from the time he activated the system, that is, January 3rd to the present. First of all, Shen Jie's original organization from the future was absorbed by the Wrong City Special Policy Department. So far, none of the names he is familiar with in the current timeline have appeared. When the system mentioned the Minister of Special Policy Department of Wrong City, it also used he instead of she. Therefore, looking at the context, it is very likely that Deng Yuki died in the Buku incident. But judging from Shen Jie's understanding of Deng Yuki and her reaction in the past 2 days, it is normal for Deng Yuki to lead the team into the unexitable, strange space. Shen Jie put the grenade away. It was useless to think so much. If he wanted to know whether it was as exciting as he guessed, the best way was to go shopping outside Dongyu Street. The system would naturally prompt him what was inside, weird characteristics. Shen Jie is very interested in this mysterious space that can block everything and can't come out. The next day, Shen Jie went to the War Department early in the morning, found Section Chief Chen, and told him that he wanted to take a few days off to travel. Travel? Chief Chen's eyes darkened, and he immediately wanted to get angry, but he still suppressed his anger and asked, "Where are you going to travel at this time?" "I heard that the hot pot in Yuzhou is different from the hot pot in Rongshi, so I am going to give it a try," Shen Jie replied calmly. "You?" The anger in Section Chief Chen's eyes disappeared, replaced by surprise and excitement. He only got along with Shen Jie for half a month, but in this half-month, he knew that the other person was a capable person. Even Feng Chengshou, who is known as the Devil Muscular Man, complained endlessly when he received his special training from hell. Shen Jie collapsed after the special training. He was carried back to the dormitory by Wang Han and Ma Chao several times, but he never heard the word bitter in his mouth. Shen Jie's spirit is so strong that Chief Chen admires him. He once joked about it, but was put off by Shen Jie's words. "This pain is nothing, he has seen hell." At the time, Section Chief Chen thought Shen Jie was joking with him, but later after discussing Shen Jie's issue with Deng Yuki in detail, he found that things seemed not that simple. It can be said that Shen Jie's resume is not as simple as it appears on the surface, but Deng Yuki's willingness to defy all opinions and force him to stay in the Special Policy Department is enough to reveal many problems. Section Chief Chen has no doubts about Deng Yuki's vision. If she can find a monster, she can unearth a second monster. "Okay, I've approved your leave. You can go as many days as you want. Do you want me to dispatch a special plane from the ministry to take you there?" Section Chief Chen asked. "That's good. I'll save on air tickets. Oh, by the way, it's so dangerous outside now. Is it reasonable for me to get a set of equipment for self-defense?" Shen Jie asked. "That's right." Section Chief Chen was afraid that Shen Jie would really go on a trip. Even if he didn't receive the equipment, Sai would still give him one. Shen Jie took the warrant from Chief Chen, the acting minister, and went to the equipment department. Not only did he take away a set of the most advanced equipment from the operations department, but he also went to the technology department to pick up a cart of canisters. "Hey, wait! When Li Shang saw the empty canister reserve, he immediately chased it out. "What are you doing? Are you looting the technology department while the minister is not here?" Shen Jie took out a spirit apple from his pocket and threw it to Li Shang. "I can see that you are quite free. If you have time, you should study this thing." "I'm not Newton. I'm studying apples to do. Mysterious energy. How come this apple contains weird energy?" Li Shang was chased out of the laboratory with a device for detecting weird energy on his head. He immediately saw the spirit apple. There was faint black smoke coming out. "Even the fruits will be alienated, right?" Li Shang didn't care about how many canisters Shen Jie took away, and ran back to the laboratory with the apple in his arms. Without affecting his actions, Shen Jie found that up to 23 canisters could be strapped to his body, and he could only regretfully return the rest to the technical department. After that, Shen Jie took the special plane arranged by Section Chief Chen to go to Yuzhou Eastern Village, a temporary headquarters 2 miles away. The atmosphere in the camp was so tense that it was almost suffocating. The people headed by Deng Yuki frowned and looked gloomy. The on-the-contact device, which looked like a dead heart rate monitor, was shocking, and the dire situation was clear at a glance. The most advanced communicator is placed on the conference table, which is said to be a device that can send signals even to the center of the Earth. At this time, there is only the clicking sound of signal fluctuations. This sound, as if the signal was interfered with, struck the heartstrings of everyone present. Every tiny sound affected the nerves of the people present, filling the camp with an indescribable sense of depression. Half an hour ago, the headquarters sent supporting elite agents, one of whom was an old man who was the same generation as Chief Chen, and led a combat team into the mysterious space. Then, as expected, something unexpected happened. The entire team lost contact in just a few seconds. This time, he really became a gourd boy to save his grandpa. One of them went away and another was missing. The headquarters could not help but ignore it and issued a first-level combat alert. Other countries are also paying close attention to this strange incident. If the Great China cannot find a way to solve it, the International Counterattack Organization may directly launch a nuclear strike over the Great China. This is not a good sign. Maybe an accident will directly trigger a global nuclear war. Then there will be no need to be weird, and humans will be able to create their own doomsday. But no one knows what is going on in the strange space right now, whether it disappears immediately after entering, or whether it is just trapped in the strange space. If it is the former, then even gathering the most powerful elite agents from the original Special Policy Department will not help. But even for the latter, being unable to get out after entering is a problem. It seems that nuclear weapons have become the only option. Just when everyone in the headquarters was at a loss, and discussions with the headquarters could not come up with a useful countermeasure, the sound of a helicopter was heard in the distance. The headquarters had just finished talking to the headquarters, but there was no word from the other side that there were agents coming to support, so everyone guessed that they should be from other departments. A group of people came out of the camp. The helicopter stopped in the distance, and a heavily armed combatant stepped down from the helicopter and walked toward them. "Hey, there are so many people. Has everyone eaten this?" Shen Jie walked to the front of the command camp and greeted everyone enthusiastically. "Whose general is this lunatic?" Hearing this familiar voice, Deng Yuqi's expression became a little strange and asked, "Chen Jie, why are you here?" "I'm here to save the situation." "Wait a minute." Shen Jie's voice was full of confidence. As he spoke, he was already walking towards the blockade guarded by soldiers in front. An agent from Qianzhou looked at Deng Yuqi and asked, "Is this one of yours?" Deng Yuqi nodded. "He is new to our department, but his strength is an elite agent approved by Mr. Chen. He may have a way to solve this strange incident." Hearing what Deng Yuqi said, the people around him obviously didn't believe it. Even the senior agent sent by the headquarters was fooled. He was a newcomer, so why? "Hey, he's not going to go in directly, is he?" someone asked. "Lao Deng, your man, just watch him die." "Hey, the soldiers stationed over there are asking if we can stop them." "Sister 7 is not in a hurry, so why are you in a hurry?" Seeing Shen Jie walking towards the blockade area, the soldiers stationed outside didn't know whether to stop him or not, and looked towards the headquarters for help. But Shen Jie stopped when he was still a few meters away from the blockade, and stood quietly in front of the blockade without making any next move. "Warn. The host is about to enter the 6th level strange lair. This place has been covered by the strange realm. If the host enters with the current strength, his life will be reversed. He will be unable to escape and will be in danger. Please cherish your life and stay away from the special pollution area immediately. Warn, warn, warn." The system has begun to overtake what it has learned all its life again, and it seems that things are indeed a bit difficult to handle this time. But special pollution area, the 6th level of the future is weird. The information is all correct. Then, Shen Jie pulled the pipe of the freezing device on his back and turned on the switch, then approached the blockade and sprayed into the strange space in front of him. What does he want to do? Create space distortion. He doesn't really intend to go in directly, does he? I am so stubborn. Sister 7, do you really not care about the people in charge of you? This strange operation made the people behind him puzzled. They asked Deng Yuqi one after another, hoping that she could explain Shen Jie's behavior. Deng Yuqi said nothing, and her eyes seemed to see through everything and were full of confidence. I don't know whether this was confidence in herself or in Shen Jie. Only, I don't even know what this lunatic is doing. Fortunately, in more than a month, Deng Yuqi's heart has been trained by Shen Jie to accept his various sexual manipulations. Shen Jie took a deep breath, turned around and walked towards the headquarters, walked into the camp, put his gun on the conference table, pulled out a chair and sat down casually. Deng Yuqi and others followed in, and Shen Jie said straight to the point. Judging from everyone's expressions, this incident is very difficult. There should be more agents who have lost contact in the past 2 days, right? I guess there won't be any in a short time. People are willing to try it, right? Hey, kid, the people here are either higher ranking or more senior than you. Can you please don't talk like you're dragging them to heaven? At this time, a Dianzhou agent said in a bad tone. Is it illegal to drag? The law states that dragging is not allowed? Shen Jie spread his hands and asked. After a pause, he added. Since you are so capable, I dare to enter the blockade area now. Do you dare? You can drag me if you dare. The man was immediately silenced by one sentence. Deng Yuqi looked at Shen Jie. However, he was wearing a gas mask and could not see his expression under the mask. He could only ask, Shen Jie, did you see something? Thinking that Shen Jie could see weak weird energy, Deng Yuqi wondered if he had seen some clues and thought of a way to solve this weird incident. Shen Jie said, the treacherous energy this time is different from the ones I have encountered before. As for the invisible uncanny space in Hexing community before, it seems to be able to block the impact of other treacherous energy and distort the space. I suspect that there is something inside like a maze. The detective who enters is not dead, but lost. With no way out, only in and no way out, isn't it a maze? Chapter 79. The sneaky clothes, the sneaky shoes, the sneaky stomach. As soon as Shen Jie said this, the other detectives immediately started asking questions, and the scene fell into chaos for a while. Real, block space distortion? How do you know so much? What else do you know? This trick can a group of people couldn't figure out why this young man could see so much information at a glance when so many senior agents had been studying the mysterious space for several days without any results. But if what he said is true, then he does have the ability to pull. At this time, many people have only one thought in their minds. What is this Deng Yuqi capable of? It's just a strange, Bian thing, Tai Lin Yin, but this one comes out of nowhere? Even many people thought that Deng Yuqi would most likely dispatch Lin Yin in this incident. Unexpectedly, in addition to the Big King, there was also a Little King card hidden in this incident? Rongshi branch, there is something. Just when everyone thought Shen Jie would continue to drag him down and put the matter aside with a bead on his chest, they heard him say in an indifferent tone. Don't worry about other issues. I may have a way to solve this strange incident. If not, I may be able to find a way for you to establish contact with it, but before that, let's talk about the price. So that you can support me. Please write down all the special equipment for me to pick 3 pieces, and let's talk about the rest later. As soon as Shen Jie said these words, there was a sudden silence in the command camp. Except for Deng Yuqi, everyone looked at him as if he was crazy. Who is it? Is it really that cool? The matter hasn't been settled yet, and you're starting to negotiate the price. Deng Yuqi frowned. She was a little confused. Shen Jie had always been not concerned with matters of his own. Solving strange incidents was all based on interest. She originally thought that he would take the initiative, but she would have to enter this strange space by herself no matter what. Once, I brought back some important information. But now, he actually came here on his own initiative? Facing the frantic crowd, Shen Jie was not in a hurry. After they vented their anger, he continued to say calmly, "Come here, let me settle the score for you." Everyone was stunned. Settling the score? What kind of account is it? In the end, before everyone could recover, Shen Gejun calculated the accounts with them. He first calculated how much it costs to train a warrior, how much an elite agent costs, and how much it costs to develop and manufacture a piece of treacherous equipment. Nearly 100 people are now trapped in the mysterious space. I want 3 pieces of mysterious equipment, right? Oh, by the way, it's want, not borrow. Don't want to take things back after the problem is solved. Shen, there was unquestionable confidence in the song's tone, as if he really had a solution to this matter. Others were still talking about Shen Jie, But Deng Yuki pondered for a while, nodded and said, "Okay, I'll go talk to the headquarters about this." Sister 7, are you serious? Do you really want to accompany your subordinates to go crazy? I think he has a mental problem, don't go crazy like him. Yeah, don't get into a fight with the old man over this kind of thing again. Everyone tried to persuade Deng Yuki, but she was unmoved. She picked up the phone and contacted the headquarters. After explaining the situation here, she made a request for 3 pieces of treacherous equipment. Although this level 4 weird event swallowed a lot of weird equipment, in fact, there were not many weird equipment in the entire Great Celestial Dynasty. There were only about 20 pieces in total, and there were still many semi-finished products. Espionage equipment is like the nuclear weapon of the new century. Because of its special ability, it not only shines in dealing with spooks, but is also a powerful weapon in deterring other countries against spooky organizations. This is why the headquarters always wants to retain its strength, because this strange incident is only a local problem after all. Once the bargaining chip with the beautiful country is missing, it may evolve into an international problem. This risk, even if it's just a possibility, the higher-ups obviously don't want it to have any chance of happening. But Shen Jie is right about one thing. This incident caused the Calabash man to save his grandfather due to the wrong judgment above. The Special Policy Department has lost a lot of people. Except for their Southwest 3 department, there will be no more people in a short time. I am willing to be involved in this incident. Shen Jie chose to take action at this time, so he did have bargaining chips. Soon, the headquarters gave a reply, agreeing to make a list of all the current domestic treacherous energy equipment and let Shen Jie choose 3 pieces. But the premise is that he can solve this weird incident. Otherwise the things will not only be recycled, but also filled with 2 pieces of weird equipment from the wrong city branch. Shen Jie didn't care about this, because he would also bring the mysterious gloves and freezing device into the mysterious space. If he knelt down, these 2 pieces of equipment would not be able to get out. Whoever likes it, go in and get it yourself. The reason why Shen Jie had the confidence to solve this strange incident was because the diary gave him confidence. After all, Deng Yuki successfully solved No Out in the end, which proved that it was possible to solve it. Since he can even deal with her, there's no reason why he can't get out even with his 3 major characteristics, as well as the deception equipment and the deception blessing, right? If this is the result, there is no need to wait 4 years. We can just lie down and die now to avoid wasting food. 10 minutes later, Shen Jie got the list from the headquarters. Looking at the dazzling array of strange equipment, his goal was mainly to solve the problem of not coming out. So on the one hand, it should be easy to carry and not affect him wearing other things and actions. Secondly, for the no exit problem, it is best to create some gaps like the invisible realm. Even if the no exit cannot be solved, you still have to find a way to escape. The first piece of equipment that Shen Jie chose was the indestructible body armor that he jokingly called when he drew the indestructible butcher knife. However, this body armor is not indestructible, but a leather jacket made of a weird leather that can heal itself. Its characteristic is rapid healing. When a bullet hits the leather armor, the hole caused will heal quickly, blocking the bullet. It can only be said that it has the effect of blocking bullets to a certain extent, but it is a bit difficult to face the strong firepower of ordinary assault rifles. For pistols and some cold weapons, the healing speed is sufficient. The second piece of weird equipment is a pair of leather shoes, which are also made of low-level weird leather and can increase a person's jumping ability. It is not easy for ordinary people to jump 1 meter high, but with the help of sneaky shoes, it is not difficult to jump 3 to 5 meters high. The third piece of treacherous equipment is a stomach, the size of a grenade. When the user throws it out, it can be as small as a chicken or as large as a cow. The treacherous stomach will instantly turn into a huge mouth to swallow it. Wrap it up, and secrete something similar to gastric acid to dissolve it. 2 of the 3 pieces of treacherous equipment were not on site and needed to be dispatched from other branches, so Shen Jie didn't get the items until it was almost evening. In one afternoon, the headquarters also formulated a new combat plan. According to previous experiences, no matter how many people entered, it was free, so this time when Shen Jie refused the assistance of the combat team, The people from the Dianzhou branch proposed to let 3 technicians follow Shen Jie in and try to sneak in. A signal tower is installed inside the space. One is to establish contact with the outside world, and the other is to establish contact between internal elite agents and soldiers. Because according to Shen Jie, the people who went in before were just lost inside and did not die. As long as they established contact, they could still collaborate. The more effort, the more possibility of cracking the mysterious space. Shen Jie didn't have any objections to this. His goal was to keep the weird no way out on the 18th floor of the weird building, which could block all weird spaces. He didn't want to give up this ability to the Special Strategy Department or those anti-cunning mercenaries. Dianzhou has provided technicians and equipment, and the Qianzhou branch has not been idle either. They have brought out their research at the bottom of the box, the treacherous energy protective clothing. The special protective clothing specially made by the Special Policy Department can prevent the human body from excessively absorbing magic energy. This is nothing special. However, the magic energy protective clothing developed by Qianzhou can not only protect against magic energy, but also absorb magic energy to a certain extent and store it, which can be used for charging of treacherous equipment. In other words, a hazmat suit version of a canister. Shen Jie's biggest headache is the problem of insufficient mental power, so he has 23 canisters of treacherous energy tied to his body. Now he has this treacherous energy protective suit. Although the reserve capacity is only about 130% of the level 1 uncanny, the absorption speed is also low. It takes nearly 10 hours. But this time there is a high probability that it will be a long-term battle, and no one knows how long it will be delayed. Recovering 2 deception tanks in 1 day is already very good. Shen Jie immediately received one, put it on, and walked out of the energy container flown from Qianzhou with 3 technicians. He kept winking at Deng Yuki and asked her to find a way to get one back from Qianzhou. Unfortunately, Deng Yuki couldn't see Shen Jie's expression under the mask at all. Thank you to the hall master, Yukia, for the reward, and I will give you more. Chapter 80. Chaotic space blocked area, in front of the mysterious space. Hello. Deng Yuki called to Shen Jie, who was about to try to enter with 3 technicians. Shen Jie looked back at Deng Yuki. Come back alive, Deng Yuki said seriously. Shen Jie said, can you give me a month's leave if you come back alive? Okay, with salary. Conscience. Shen Jie gave a thumbs up, walked to the entrance of the strange space, turned to look at Deng Yuki and said, if I go in and lose contact, buy me 30 days. If there is no response in 30 days, what do you think? How to deal with it? How to deal with it? It's best not to kill anyone again within 30 days. As soon as Shen Jie said these words, the other branch agents standing behind Deng Yuki couldn't hold back. Brother, is it possible that you are also giving away people's heads now? Where on earth do you have the confidence to say that to others? Come back alive. Deng Yuki nodded. All she can do now is believe in Shen Jie and believe that he can successfully solve this strange incident at level 4. Since the can't get out weird space is somewhat special, you can't use weird space collision to cause space distortion. Instead, you can directly, my door is always open. If you like it, you can't get in. Anyway, you can only get in and not get out. Therefore, Shen Jie and others did not need to make any other preparations and just stepped in. The 3 technicians are not as free and easy as Shen Jie. Although as soldiers they have the consciousness of sacrifice, they are still a little scared when faced with the strange space that swallows people. In the end, before the 3 of them could prepare themselves mentally, Shen Jie stepped in without giving the 3 of them any time to prepare. Hello. 3 technicians quickly followed in. According to the uncertainty of the entrance and exit of the mysterious space, even if 4 people enter together, they may not appear in the same location, so the 3 technicians each carry separate equipment for setting up signal stations. After stepping into the strange space, the 4 people indeed appeared in different locations. Is this a parking lot? Shen Jie held the gun and used the tactical flashlight on the gun to scan around, and found himself in a dark and depressing parking lot. It is a bit inappropriate to call it a parking lot. It looks a bit like an office building that has been vacated, but ordinary office buildings will not have such an architectural style. Hello, Minister? Boss? Can anyone hear me outside? Shen Jie tried to use the communicator to communicate with Deng Yuki and others, but there was no response. Then he used the special communicator provided by Dianzhou to try to contact the 3 technicians who entered with him, but there was also no response. Shen Jie had already been mentally prepared for this outcome. Ha 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 ha. Shen Jie faintly heard a sound of hitting the ground in front of him. He swept his tactical flashlight forward and found that there was nothing in the seemingly endless passage. Suddenly, with a strange noise, rows of white fluorescent lights suddenly lit up on the ceiling of the empty underground parking lot. However, the strange thing is that even though the fluorescent lights illuminate the underground parking lot clearly, it feels foggy and it is impossible to see what is at the end. At this moment, Shen Jie saw in a trance that there seemed to be a human figure at the end. This shadow was terrifyingly tall, with its feet on the ground and its head on the ceiling. It was visually estimated that it was at least 2 or 3 meters tall. With such a height and appearing in such a strange place, there is a high probability that he is not a human being. Shen Jie looked forward through the thermal imaging scope installed on the gun. There was no living thing in his sight. When he looked away again, the black shadow was gone. Shen Jie held the gun and walked forward with a wary expression. At this time, the surroundings were eerily quiet, and the depressing environment made Shen Jie breathless. As he walked further, Shen Jie noticed that there seemed to be a lot of scratches on the wall. When he looked closer, he saw that the whole wall was covered with scratches as if counting. What's this? Count, is it the group of mercenaries? The first thing Shen Jie thought of was the group of mercenaries, because according to the habits of the people of the Great Celestial Dynasty, counting usually uses the word Zheng, and they don't draw pictures like this. Shen Jie withdrew his gaze and continued to walk forward. After walking for about half an hour, not only did we not reach the end, we didn't even find any exit or any place to turn. Dimly, he seemed to hear a conversation ringing in his ears. The key point was that there was a voice he was very familiar with. It was one of the 3 technicians who entered the strange space with him just now. Shen Jie stopped and looked around. He didn't see anyone else, but the voice seemed to be whispering in his ears. If you close your eyes, it seems like they are talking next to you. Shen Jie frowned and continued to move forward with the gun in hand. Suddenly, Shen Jie's eyes blurred, as if he saw the figures of 3 technicians. He quickly stopped and shouted to the 3 of them. Hello. Stop. With a click, Shen Jie raised his gun and fired a shot at the feet of one of them. Stop, hey. The 3 of them did not react and continued to talk and move forward. Shen Jie saw another flower in front of his eyes. The 3 technicians disappeared out of thin air, as if they had never appeared. Everything was Shen Jie's hallucination. It's not strange for anything to appear in a strange space, let alone hallucinations. But Shen Jie felt that things were not that simple, because he had just vaguely heard 3 technicians talking about setting up a signal station. In other words, the 3 people most likely met together and were trying to complete their mission. Shen Jie thought for a moment, stood there, raised his right hand and opened his palm to face the ceiling. Invisible and mysterious realm. Collapse. As soon as Shen Jie's invisible realm opened, he was centered around him, and the surrounding area was immediately made transparent. The ceiling where his palm was facing could hear the sound of glass breaking. Shen Jie jumped up, relying on the jumping bonus of the sneaky equipment, sneak shoes, to directly pass through the gap created by the collapse from the lower level and jump to the upper level. Dismissed. After dispelling the invisible realm, Shen Jie looked around and found that he was in a space that was not much different from the one downstairs. Office building? Not quite. Unless this office building no longer wants to rent, it would be impossible to decorate it with such a weird and depressing color scheme. Shen Jie continued to explore forward with his gun in hand, making a circle and returning to the same place. He found that this place was more complicated than the floor below. Downstairs, you could only keep walking forward, but this floor had more turns. But no matter where you go, you will be back where you were in less than half an hour. In the empty corridor directly ahead, there is a rusty chair. Shen Jie moved closer, straightened the chair, and sat down to rest. From the time I entered to now, it has been almost 3 hours. Except for the depressing space that is like a maze and can't get out, not to mention people, I haven't encountered even a ghost. Shen Jie thought for a moment, then deployed the invisible realm again, broke through the ceiling, and jumped upwards. However, when he reached the upper floor, he discovered that he was back in the parking lot at the beginning. That wall with countless scratches appeared in front of me again. Could this be someone who drew a stroke every time he walked back to the same place? Shen Jie counted more than 400 scratches, which meant that this person repeated it more than 400 times. Depending on how many hours each time, there is a high probability that they are the first few batches of people who entered the strange space. Judging from the time, it might be the group of anti-treacherous mercenaries. But no matter who it is, being trapped here all the time is not an option. If you don't let me out, I'm going to cause destruction. Shen Jie took out a blasting grenade, pulled off the ring and threw it forward. Boom! With a violent shaking, a large gap was blown out of a stone pillar. However, something terrible happened at this time. Black liquid flowed out of the gap in the stone pillar blown by the explosive grenade.